Welcome back, guys. Well, like I said in the first video, we were just to scan through the document and just to get ourselves familiar with it. And so in this video, we'll be talking to us about HTML. Let me believe that you have been able to install these two applications on your system, and you will not be able to enjoy this course. To practice along on a mobile phone. So you definitely have to have a laptop if you've been watching this on mobile phone. But well, you can still continue watching. Probably if you're planning to practice later, you just want to take time to watch first. So let me believe that you have Visual Studio Code or VS Code installed, and you also have Google Chrome on your system. And talking about HTML, in the previous video, I said HTML means Hypertext Markup Language. It is the language. It's a language that is used to build web pages. Though there are a lot of languages that you can also use to build web pages, but most of all those languages, at the end of the day, generate an HTML set of HTML tags for you. Not that all of them can also can run in the browser. They cannot. Most of them cannot run in the browser. So what they will do is they will let you interact with them in their own syntax, and at the end they will generate set of HTML tags that will be rendered into your browser, and that will form that beautiful visuals that you see on different websites. But I will not go into different other languages that you can use to build a web application. So, but here we'll stick to the primitive ones, just this HTML and the CSS. And we said in HTML we make use of tags. Tags are the building block of any web page, and and I said it in the previous video that we have just two types of tags in HTML. In HTML, we have the paired tag, and with this paired tag, you can these are the pair these are tags that have the opening side and the closing part of it. And as you can see from here, we have the opening part of this tag, and we have the closing part of this tag. And if you look at the two sides, there are one major difference between the two of them is between these two sides is this forward slash. So in opening tag, you have the first part of it with the name of the tag. There are different names. So we're just trying to denote this with the red text here. So let's say this is img for image in HTML. So you use img to render image on our web page. And so let's say this tag name is img here, and but unfortunately img is an unpaired tag. So don't let me use img as an example for you. Let's look for a form. Let's say you want to build a form where you want to collect information or data from people on your web page. So you want to build a form like, okay, give me your first name and the last name. So the form element itself that we hold all those fields, right, is a dual tag, is an unpaired tag. It's a paired tag rather. And on that, so instead of this tag name, then you have form here, and you will have a form on this side. But the difference between the two of them is just this forward slash. So the opening tag we not have a forward slash, but the closing tag we have the forward slash before the name of the tag itself. And you will notice that on the side, on each of these parts, we have the less than and the greater than. So that is how we use to write a tag in HTML. And from here, we can jump into our code. And yeah, so but before we jump into our code, I want us to organize our file properly. So when you open Visual Studio Code on your system, just like this. So this is Visual Studio Code in its glory, and you can click on this Explorer part. So on this Explorer part, this is where you see all your folder, right? But maybe before we get into that, let's try to create our folder. I'll minimize this document for now. So let's say this is my desktop, right? This is my desktop. This is your own desktop too. So let's create a folder on our desktop. So in just a simple way, we create. Maybe you have a way of creating it, or you can easily just go to the desktop or any folder where you want to create this, and let's right click and create a new folder. If you're on Windows, when you right click, you have an option almost halfway down. You will see it called new. Inside that new, there will be another context list where it will tell you at the top like new folder. So you can easily right click on your folder and create a folder. So here I'll create a folder and I'll call it 0 because that is the name of our project. So let's call it 0 or whichever one. And yeah, in 0. So, and we need to open this folder inside Visual Studio Code. Inside Visual Studio Code, well, there are different ways you can do it. If you have your Visual Studio Code open like this and your folder, you can see the two of them. You can easily drag your file into a blank area of Visual Studio Code, right? If we do that, then the Visual Studio will open that folder for us. Or if you don't want to do that, let's say you can't see the file directly, the folder directly like this, you can easily click on the file menu of your Visual Studio. Well, this is how Mac used to align all the menu items, but in Windows you have them lined up in your Windows, in your application window directly. But Mac will have its own up here, so you can easily click on File. So you can notice that you have code here. So that is the application name for this Visual Studio Code. So make sure that, because if you're on another application, even though your Visual Studio Code is open and you're on another application, for instance, I'm on Google Chrome now, you'll notice that this has changed. Okay, so for those of us using Mac and just want to be able to just make sure that you are on that application, select File and click Open Folder. Right, open folder. Then you can navigate to your application on my desktop and look for that folder which is you are looking for. This is my own folder 0. I can click on it and click on open. Right, when you click on open, then the application Visual Studio Code will open the folder for us. But just for a simple and direct way to open it, I'll drag this folder into Visual Studio Code, and then you'll see Visual Studio Code popping up, many other things, maybe things to install if you have not installed it before, right? So fine. A simple way in Visual Studio Code to create, you already have your folder. So if we are following this guide, if we're following this guide, right, you have created a folder called 0, and inside that, let's create our first file called index.html. Index.html. So you can click on Visual Studio Code again. Let's open our Visual Studio Code. I usually like to close this editor. I don't really use it often. So I have 0 opened here. There are 4 buttons here. The first one is to create a new file. The second one is to create a folder, and the third one is just to refresh that folder 0. And this is just to close all those open folders if you have opened them. Don't worry, you will see the use for this later in this video, or maybe the later ones. Right? So here, let's create a file first. We want to create a file called index.html, just like what we have in our structure here, index.html. So here, there's the first button here is to create a file, and you can easily click on it. And it will give you a text box here where you can type the name of your file. So before you can write any code, you must have an HTML page, an HTML file where you can type in all your codes. But right now we have not started doing any code. I just want to show us how those tags are being structured and how you can try to understand them more better. So, but for now, let's mess with our index.html file. So let's create a file called index.html. Index.html. So I hope we can see my screen clearly. So index.html and press enter. So then you'll notice that the file has been created for you, and you can see it is inside my desktop, and it's inside the desktop. So if you click inside it, it's inside this desktop, inside a video zero folder, and there is a file called index.html. So in this index.html, just like what we were talking about concerning the tags. So let's say this is a tag, and how those tags were. And I've said that in the previous video that paired tag are those tags that give room for other tags or text to be in between their opening tag and the closing tag. There are different types of paired tag in HTML. You can see even HTML itself, it's a tag in web development. We have head, we have body, we have H1. So this one is, we have H1, H2 up to H6. They are majorly used for headings, titles in HTML. And we have strong. This is a tag to create a bold text. You can easily just say B for bold as well. And we have P for paragraph. We have A for anchor. This is from linking from one page to another. So maybe when you see some hyperlink on some website, or click here to buy now, or click here to redeem your price, all those kind of things are being used, are being created with an anchor tag, right? We have the bold, same thing as strong. The I, BIU, just like what you used to see in Microsoft Word, bold, italic, and underline. So all these things are also here in HTML. So there are many type of tags. There are tons of them. So but the majority of those that you use, that are being used often, I will show you, and we will go through them one after another. Okay, so talking about tags, they are tags that can house, that can act as a room for another tag, like a container of another tag. Those are the paired tag. And how do I mean by a container for another tag? So for instance, let's get off the track a bit. Let's talk about kitchen. Don't worry if you don't like cooking, but at least you know some of all those things that you can find in the kitchen. So let's say we have a tag called kitchen. Well, you know that inside your kitchen, you can have different other things. And so let's have that idea that those elements that we can find in our kitchen that cannot be a container for another element, we will see them as unpaired tag. But any element that anything inside your kitchen that you can keep something else inside it, then we will say those elements, those items that we can see them as a paired tag. For instance, kitchen itself is a container of any other thing that you can put inside it. You can take your stove into your kitchen, your freezer can be in your kitchen, your knife can be in your kitchen, or the set of cups or pots and all those things can be in your kitchen. So let's say a kitchen is actually a tag. How do we write it out? So, and from this document, we see that we have the tag name in between a less than and greater than sign for the opening part of that tag. And the closing part of it is we have, instead of just the less than and the greater than, we also have a forward slash into it. But let's understand how those tags are being formed in HTML. But in this case, we're just going to deal with it as if they are all of those items that we are familiar with, like things that we see every day in our kitchen. Apologies if you're not always around at home to see kitchens, but at least. So let's just tag along. So let's say we want to create a tag called kitchen. So how do we start? We start by writing the less than sign. So if you don't know how to get to less than sign on your keyboard, you have to hold the shift down. Wherever you see the less than on your keyboard, usually with comma, right? I don't know if, yeah, that you can just hold the shift and press the button, then you have the less than sign. So then you can say kitchen, kitchen, right? So in kitchen, so the moment you put the greater than sign, this software will, don't let it make you lazy, but take advantage of all those features in it to help yourself to be able to work faster and smarter. The moment you start typing kitchen, it was looking at you. Okay, let's do it again. So let's start with the less than sign and kitchen. Right. It doesn't know anything you want to do. But the moment you put this less than in front of it, because we are in an HTML file, automatically it will believe that we are writing an HTML code. The moment you start the opening tag and you wrap that opening tag up with the greater than sign, automatically it will generate the closing tag for you. And it will put the cursor in between the two of them and it will be blinking for you to type something else. Then you can now say, now, okay, inside the kitchen, you can actually have everything on one line, but just for our code to look more neater and structured, then we can just click on enter and it will move that part to the end, to the next line, and put the closing part of that tag at the bottom of it. So you will know that, okay, it's a container that can house another container or any element or text. Then you can see the cursor is still blinking in between the opening tag and the closing tag of kitchen. So what can you have in your kitchen? Okay, I can have freezer. So let's say there's another element called freezer. Freezer. The moment I do that, then you can see this. Then you now see that, okay, this is freezer, and what else can you have inside your freezer? Sometimes you can cook and keep your pot inside the freezer. So maybe you're traveling, you want to keep your food there or whatever. So let's say you have your pot inside the freezer. Your pot inside the freezer, because your pot is also an object where you can keep some other things. Either you want to keep soup inside it, or you just want to put not ordinary spoon or some small cups inside it. And so let's just say that is a freezer. And what else can you have in a kitchen apart from the freezer? Okay, I can have cabinets inside. Cabinet. How do I do that? So this element, kitchen, can take more other item inside itself. It is not because you have put freezer in the kitchen, nothing else can also be inside kitchen again. So what do? Then you can say, okay, I'm done with freezer here, and I want to add my cabinet. Then you can say cabinet, right? Cabinet. So what is in a cabinet? I can say I have a cup. A cup. So let's say cup. Cup is also a tag. But okay. Inside the cup, what can you have inside the cup? Okay, I have a spoon. Okay, so now let's pause on that. I have a spoon. Let's think about it. Can something else be inside a spoon? No. Then the spoon is the final stage of anything you want to add in that part. But it's not that inside cabinet you can only have one cup. Okay, let's say you have another cup inside the cabinet. Cup. Right? In this cup, what do you have? Maybe you just have a bag of Lipton. Right? Let's just call it Lipton. So, but before we go into that Lipton, so let's assume that Lipton bag, the tea bag, and the the dried leaf inside it is all the Lipton. So I don't want to say the bag. Inside the bag, you have the dried leaf, you have all those things. No, let's just say it's a Lipton bag. But let's use spoon as an example first. A spoon inside a cup. A spoon inside a cup. Then that can take us back to our document, and we'll look at it like, okay, unpaired tag. Look at these circles here, the first one. It looks like you're looking at a cup from the top, right? And you can see two teeth inside that cup, right? These two purple lines in this dotted line, in these dotted circles. Let's say you're looking at a tray of two plates, right? You have a red plate here, and you have a blue plate, maybe a teacup with this plate and its cup itself, and you have like three spoons inside it, and you have one spoon in the tea plate, and you have another plate here with two spoons. So but we know that this circle, which is a cup, can take any element, can take more elements into itself. It can take tea, it can take just cube of sugar and all these things, right? And let's just say this is a spoon. Nothing else can be inside the spoon. Then that is the end on that part of the spoon, nothing else inside it, and that is where we call them unpaired. It has nothing, it is not a container, it is just an element that cannot contain anything within itself. And I said that earlier, that only 4 types, only 4 elements fall into that category. Only 4 types of 4 tags fall into that category. The first one is meta. Meta is used to curate a simple description of your web page, for maybe for web crawler, or maybe for some or open graph things. Don't worry, that is just on the advanced side. But and I won't get into that in this course, so not to like bog you with some unnecessary things. Not that they are not necessary, but at this level, I will tell you that it is not very important for you. But the way the system will generate them for us, so we can just keep to all those things just like that. So let's say this is how we want to write our spoon inside the cup in the kitchen. So we can just type the less than, then type the spoon, and before the greater than sign, then we'll put the // and we'll see what will happen. You know, before, if we don't put the / and we just put the greater than sign, the system, the application, Visual Studio Code, will generate the closing tag for us automatically. And so let's go back to our code, and we'll say in the first cup, inside the cabinet in the kitchen, then we can say it has a spoon. Say spoon. But before the greater than sign, we put // and we put this in front of it. You'll notice that nothing happens. Unlike before, let's assume, like I just put this guy, automatically, this application, we had the second. Yeah, I just want to zoom out if you have not been seeing it clearly. But before, apologies for that. So all we've been doing is trying to see those elements that can act as a container for more elements or any other type of item that you can add in HTML. But this is not HTML. I'm using our kitchen to explain this to us, and hopefully we grab it. And by the time we start bringing all those real HTML tags into play, then we'll understand how all those things are being structured. So here you have the cabinet. Inside the cabinet you have a cup. Then you have this cup as this is a spoon. Then we can say, okay, just a spoon, and nothing else can be inside it. So let's have it as a tag. So the second cup, inside the second cup, what else can we put? Let's say a cube of sugar. Let's just say sugar. Nothing else can be inside sugar. So let's make it an unpaired tag, right? Then you can see the structure. Like, okay, inside my kitchen, I have a freezer, I have cabinets, I have, let's say I have plate rack too. Then I can say I have rack. So rack, inside the rack, I have plates, maybe plate one. I have, what, let's say plate. What else can be inside the plate? All right, we can just say, okay, nothing inside the rack, or you can have a plate inside plate. So you can say plate one. So let's say this is a plate. And inside this first plate, we have another plate, right? We have another plate, and we have just beside this other plate, we have another plate. So this is very possible. So plate, and nothing else inside it. If nothing else inside it, you can just keep it on a straight line, and just like this instead, and you can move down. So even inside the rack, okay, I have bowl. I have a bowl in there. A bowl, sorry, a bowl. So I have a bowl. Inside the bowl, let's say I have another bowl. I have another bowl, and inside that same bowl again, I have another bowl, right? But maybe something like this, right? So you can see how everything is being structured. This is the same way our HTML will be uh, uh, arranged, and so will be arranged. And I can easily just give you a very simple tag, set of tags in HTML. And you will, if we go to go back to these tags, let's pick 3 tags here. Let's pick the header, the main, and the footer. So the header, the main, and the footer. Those tags are tags to create a simple layout of a website, or of a web page rather. So a website is a collection of all those web components, either pictures, or web file, HTML file, JavaScript, all those things. So combination of them hosted is, and have a tag, then that is your website. And each of those files, those ones that are HTML files, or uh, uh, um, that are generating a set of HTML tags for you, those are the web files that create a web page for you. There can be multiple of them linked up together. So let's say we want to, okay, let me show you a website. And so for us to understand some simple thing about it, let's say we go to a website. Okay, I will zoom this out. Sorry. So let's say we go to a website. Let's go to, which website can we go to? Let's go to CBN website, Central Bank of Nigeria. Don't worry, we're just looking at the structure, and it's a public domain, so I don't think that should be a problem. So let's, I don't know the website, let's quickly Google it. Say CBN Nigeria. So the website is called www.cbn.gov.ng, and click on it. Okay, so you can, so those 3 tags that I mentioned earlier, which is the header, main, and footer. You can keep everything that at the upper part of the website, that like you are reusing them, or they are appearing at the top, majorly in all the web pages. You can categorize them as the header content. And all these other places where you have the main information that is specific to that particular page. For instance, this is the home page, right? This is the home page, and this is the footer. This is the home page. Everything here, this web page is called the home page. This upper part, for instance, this is, if I go to currency, let's speak legal tender. So you will notice that this header part of the website is what we were seeing on the previous page, right? And the lower part of the website is also what we were seeing on the other page, the previous page as well. But the content area, this is the content area, right? This is the content area And this is majorly the main part of this page. But all these parts are all there. The upper parts are there for you to be able to navigate from one page to another. And you will know that all this information up here are to help you to be able to navigate around. But the information here is actually about this page, legal tender, right? So on the legal tender, this is the money we spend in Nigeria if you're not in Nigeria, right? So this, yeah. So this is just like $1. The 500 naira, that's like $1. Okay, I don't want to talk about that now. So sorry. All right. So if I go into another page, let's say we go to publication, and I pick publications, and I pick CBN monthly economic report. If I click on that, you will notice that this same upper part is still the same thing, and the lower part is still the same thing. Then we can say the structure of CBN website is they have the header at the top, they have the main at the middle, and they have the footer at the bottom. So this is the structure, and we can easily go back into our web page, and we'll say into our code, and say in CBN, let's say CBN is a tag. CBN is not a tag, but I'm using that as an example. So this is the CBN page. Then we can have foot header for the upper part of the code. We can have header, right? Whatever we want to put, all those menus, everything, we can keep them in the header. Then the main tag in HTML is where you keep all those content that are specific to that particular page, right? That are specific to that particular page. And the footer tag are the contents that you just want to keep at the bottom of the page, and you want them to be available in majority of all other pages, right? So we can keep that. Let's say this is your own website. You can have all your menus up here in the header, and you can have all your footer, maybe some quick links as well, or where you want to keep your copyright text, all those things, or maybe a simple about us. You want to keep it there. For instance, if you go to conga.com, it's an online platform. I worked here as a senior software engineer for like 6 years. Yeah. So, and so here, so you can see there are a lot of promo going on these days. You will notice that the home page looks like, so you notice that this part is always here. And if you go to the bottom, you see this part, right? And let's pick one of those products as if we want to buy. Let's pick this, all right? Okay, this is the catalog page. And you will notice that this upper part is still there. So this is the head. This is the main area. The main area goes down, goes down, goes down, goes down, goes down, until it gets to this part. You'll notice that, okay, small appliances, this thing is changing based on the category that you are. Small appliances, you can see the menu, the URL name here, small appliances. This is just telling you. So this is also part of, but this part is always part of those pages that we've been seeing on conga.com. Let's say we want to go to babies. Pick a category, maternity dress. So maternity dresses, then you can see all those dresses called maternity. The other part is still remaining, and if you go to the bottom, this bottom part is still there. This is changing based on the category, so you cannot say this is part of the footer. So this is still part of the main. So all this white area or this gray area are the main parts. Then all these pink, beautiful pink parts are the header parts, and the black parts are the footer. So this is how most of those web pages are structured, and they are different tags nested inside each other to make all this beautiful content. If we click on this and view source, you will notice that, okay, you are seeing all this blah blah blah, because this is being rendered with some and being rendered with some special software, right? So it's not really showing us the better structure of the code, but you can actually see it out, see them from, if you right click and do inspect, you go to the element, you can see all how those elements are nested inside each other, right? And so with that, we'll get to this part where we can see our own code in this form. So this video has been running for the past 35 minutes, and I hope you are able to grab something from this. So in the next video, we will continue with attributes, and we'll get to that. Yeah, thank you so much for your time, and so sorry if this is a bit longer than the previous video, but it is for the good cause, so please bear with me, and I hope you are enjoying it. Thank you.